Mr. Kohli referred to the fact that, Indians are perceived as friendly. There is also another image that some African nations have of India, having come, probably a century ago. They're also seen as a colonial people, people who are already very rich and therefore not seen as very friendly. There is an iniquitous relation that some African nations bear towards their old Indian residents. Is that a problem at all when you, invest in Africa?
In fact, on the contrary, I think Indians have a very good image in Africa, especially, for example, in South Africa, where Mahatma Gandhi has been there. He's still remembered there. Tatas have been in Africa for some 35 years. And there have been many Indians who have been to Africa much earlier times than compared to China. So there is definitely a positive image that India has and Indians have in most of the African countries. My only disappointment is that we have actually not made use of that for many, many, many years. And for some reason we have, of course, India is growing and we need to focus on India. There is no question. India has got fantastic opportunities. But I can tell you, the African positiveness about India is something which we have not yet fully made use of. And notwithstanding the Chinese, shall we say, onslaught in the last 20 years, I think India and Indians and Indian businessmen, and we are perceived to be very friendly, honest, straightforward, and that positive image we must make full use of. And I think time is now, and I agree with Manoj completely. Okay,
Manoj, what's your sense? Is this a push factor? I mean, some Indian consumer markets at least are getting saturated. Is that a factor that is likely to push Indian companies to Africa? Or do you think in the fullness of time, Indian companies will look at Africa as a land of opportunity along with India? What's the sense you are getting?
Well, I think India is a great opportunity itself, but if Indian companies have to go global, as our company is trying and Tatas are already ahead of us, then we need to look at this last frontier of Africa. We studied all continents in the last 2-3 years, and we felt that our best opportunity lies in Africa, because other parts of the world, whether they're in the US or Europe or China and Japan, many other parts are already saturated and mature. For the next 1 or 2 decades, the last frontier of economic growth is Africa, and if we participate, then along with India, companies who participate heavily will become very, very large companies.
Mr. Muthuraman, is there anything that the Indian government can get right? Do you sometimes feel that there could be something that a government-to-government relation can do in terms of improving the prospects for Indian business?
You see, government-to-government relationship in developing businesses are extremely important. I would, while in the last decade or even before the last decade, while the Indian businessmen and Indian private companies have taken the initiative to go to South Africa and many other countries of Africa, and the government's involvement for supporting the Indian businesses have not been as much as, for example, it is the case in China. I would very much like to see Indian government's involvement with many, many African countries. The government of India needs to recognize many of the African countries as growth nations for the future. We need to develop special friendly relations, and all this will help the process.
Okay. Well, Manoj, what would be your, advice to Indian business? If I were to ask you, give us a simple toolkit, a list of, top 5 lessons which Indian business should adopt while approaching Africa, what would they be?
Okay, top 5. Okay, let me start with government, because government is most important. We need to build bridge with every government, because if you build that bridge, I think you take off much faster. So luckily in the last 3 weeks, I did that in every country. We build bridges. Governments fortunately look up to India. Prime ministers, presidents, ministers, they look up to India as a democracy, because democracy is gradually growing in Africa. So they look up to India, how we do elections, how we do run parliament, how we do all this, which is a great news, and we can help to expose them to India. Second is on the market side. Consumers are very different in every country. So don't go to Africa as Africa, go to Africa as 53 countries. Okay. Each country is different. Each country has to be dealt with in a customized fashion. Don't have a broad brush. Go for customized country-by-country strategy. Third is people. Again, people, cultures are different, tribes are different, languages are different. Again, don't customize. Respect them a lot, which is a fundamental value of Africa. Be happy, make them happy, and I'm sure they'll come up to task. We, for example, have 42 nationalities working in our company now in Africa. And we really are trying to leverage all of them and really customize our people strategies country by country. Fourth is brand, and it's very important to launch Indian brands and launch them in a qualitative fashion so that Africans are accepting Indian brands. Actually, global brands are not that big there, except for Coke, etc. So there is a vacuum which Indian brands can go and fill up as soon as possible. And the last thing is about working with partners. You need to have partners there, whether they're global partners or local partners. Work closely, respect them, give them space, and they will help you grow much faster. Whether they're shareholding partners or marketing or, let's say, distribution partners, they are important because our knowledge of Africa, especially the deep end of Africa beyond the capital cities, is not that great. So these are the, in my view, 5 top drivers for great success in Africa.
At least some of these are at least universal lessons. Mr. Muthuraman, the same thing in a slightly negative frame. What can be the dangers that Indian business should be, careful about? Would law and order, sudden disruptions in law and order be an issue which they may have to encounter? Would it be that the law of contract is not so sacred? What can be the pitfalls which you're not quite prepared for from this end, but you might encounter over there?
The pitfalls are the same in all developing countries.
Okay.
If we also have similar pitfalls in some of Indian states.
Yes, we do.
And there are many countries in Africa which are, I think, more developed than some of the states of India. That is also true. So Africa is a mixture of many countries. There are countries which have got diversified economy, like South Africa, like Egypt, like Tunisia, all Morocco. All these are fairly diversified economies. Then you got these oil exporting countries. Then you got economies which are in transition, in like Ghana, Nigeria, and so on. And there are also economies like countries which are pre-transition. And I think India also has some states which are pre-transition, if I may say so. So you need to treat each country differently. Each country is in a different state of development. And one positive thing that we have actually, Indian businesses, is Indian businesses have got good governance practices. And I think as companies, many of our companies are very well evolved in terms of governance practices, in terms of systems and processes and so on. We can bring all that to these developed countries. We need to be careful we need to make sure that we don't underestimate any of these countries. Each one of them have got enormous amount of potential, and we need to respect them. We need to respect their culture. We need to respect their social habits. We need to respect their systems. That's very important.
Fair point. Final question to you, Manoj. If you were not a cell phone seller, what would you like to sell in Africa? Where is the big opportunity if a lot of businessmen and CEOs are listening to you over here? Which are the top businesses that have an easy run of that continent or of those countries?
No, if I was not a telecom guy, I would have definitely got into food and FMCG. Because food and FMCG in Africa, especially packaged food, etc., will be a fantastic demand with population growing, consumption growing, people spending much more disposable income on higher quality products and services. So, but I'm telling you, the next 10 years or 20 years will give so much of disposable income at new products and new services. Especially with the oil money, billions of oil money coming up into the economy. So I feel that these 2-3 businesses will also do well. Transportation is another one, because about 10% of GDP is being spent on transportation and telecom. So transportation needs, including airlines, it needs a lot of investment, and there is huge potential. For example, in airlines, sometimes when you would go from one country to the other in francophone countries, in the French-speaking countries, you need to go back to Paris and then come back to Africa. So, I mean, can you imagine the potential we have to do airlines business there? So there are a lot of good businesses to be picked up by Indian companies.
All right.